cut their tail off. And the Makos, man, seeing them spin on a dime like that is absolutely terrifying. And he was not coming into play. Like, he was fully coming in to bite you.
Yeah, if you show it in slow motion, you see the eyes whited out,
I'll
mouth
play
fully
the
open.
slow-mo now.
Yeah.
You see it, his pec fin like catches your this is my favorite part. So
Like, shark!
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know Luke is literally one of the most badass humans I've ever met. He's done some pretty incredible things, through life. And to give you an idea, when I travel internationally, we go to these not so sketchy places, but we're usually with, clients that are pretty, pretty aware of their surroundings, and they want to be able to get back no matter what. So every night I'm somewhere, I send Luke a text no matter where I am in the world and say, everything is okay. Here's our location. Everybody's fine. This is where we're going next. I'll check in at whatever hour it is. And basically Luke has the connections, and he's done some work in the past for helping people get out of bad situations around the world. And if need be, these guys will come and get us out no matter where we are in the world. So it's a nice kind of safety blanket to have. But in this, like somebody said, it's important to have good boat drivers in circumstances like this. I agree with that, but at the same time, what are you going to do in this situation when that all happened in less than a second? Like, look how quickly this all happens. It's great to have your guy in the boat ready, and I 100% agree with you, but watch how quickly this happens. From the time you see the shark, we'll count it out. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000. It happened that fast. Like, you got to be ready with the boat all the time, but aware of your surroundings is so important for spearfishing anyways. You just got to be aware of everything going on. And holy crap, that happens so fast. Like, yeah. I've been out there fishing and seen guys hook Makos and them jump like 10 times 15 feet in the air. I'm like, holy cow, that thing has like so much power. And
yeah, and I finally got, like I said, he kept coming back, but the rest of the video is just, all you see is whitewash, because I'm swimming with one fin back to the boat. And the guys at the boat didn't have an idea, they didn't really know what was going on. They just thought something was wrong. And then they saw me turn, and I saw it and kind of had a split second, and they caught me jab it. And the one guy said, you hit it, because he turned real hard, and I felt it bump, and I didn't go through it. It just kind of like collapsed my arm a bit. And, I got back in the boat, and, with those guys are really experienced dudes. It's my primary like Bluefin kind of crew, and they have this amazing 35 Everglade, which to you guys out there in Florida is like a tiny boat, but us in California it's like a cool boat. But one of my partners, actually, he's the head ER doctor for our main hospital here in Newport Beach at Hope Hospital. So it is nice being with a guy like him. But he was even like, if you got hit where it looked like you would have been hit, we're so far out. Maybe there was a helicopter at San Clemente Island. Maybe.
It's tough, man.
He's like, you would have been, he's like, even having me here and I can do surgery. And he has like a pretty extensive medical kit on him. Like, that's something I've been, this whole like IFAC thing in spearfishing, I've been promoting since the beginning. I never really understood why we didn't have that. And I'm glad that that's become so popular now.
Oh yeah. All the shark attacks we've had this year and last year in Florida and the Bahamas, like, it really has opened people's eyes. Like, hey, we got to have an emergency kit. Like, people need to be trained. And you and I have both had a fair amount of medical training. Yours is a lot of combat training, and the combat injuries are pretty similar to like what would happen on a boat. Shark attack is honestly going to be pretty rare. You're more likely to get hit by a boat, and it's major trauma, bleeding, stop the bleeding, control the pain, and get them help like pretty quickly. So one of the questions that came in here was, do you think a shark shield would have made a difference in that situation?
I have absolutely zero experience with those things. You have a lot more
Mm-hmm.
experience than I do with them. Having said that, like, I'd love one,
That one
especially
was
with the whites, the way the whites have been out here in California the last couple of years. I mean, I actually didn't see one last year, but I did not dive near as much last year as I would have liked to. I kind of
mm-hmm.
got the fish I wanted to get in the freezer and stopped diving. Not going to say that had something to do with the Mako, but to be honest, it totally had something to do with the Mako.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like I said, I haven't dove the same since, and I've still got out there and harvested some food, but
Right.
let's just say I was a lot more comfortable with the Mexico trips I took last year than I
That's a
did.
that's a tough one to recover from, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah, and I have a kid now. I just I have a newborn baby girl, so um, I don't know. You just start thinking about things like that, and it's funny because people talk about I'm a competitive shooter and whatnot, and they talk about oh well you shoot guns all the time and that's so dangerous. It's like when you're really good at something, it's kind of like being a race car driver. When you're really good at driving, suddenly driving dangerous isn't as dangerous anymore because you
mm-hmm.
you have that control. In the water, I don't have that control, and that was the first time I really. And for you, it's probably something very simple because you've seen what sharks can do. I had
Right.
not, so it was really the first experience I had where it was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I
Well,
am
here,
that
so here's
helpless out here. Like,
the people keep asking about the shark shield. We've used it a lot for a lot of different situations. Knock on wood, I've never been bit by a shark. We wear it in situations where we know there's going to be a lot of them, like in some of the tuna diving that we do, and the people that are in the know will know what I'm talking about. We've got one area that has a ton of little sharks that they're not going to mess with you. They don't even touch the big tunas when we shoot them. And then on the other area, we have what we call the megalodons, which are these big Galapagos sharks that are like 8 to 12 foot on average. And you're usually not diving in that great of water. And we suggest everybody put one on. And man, they'll come into the like kind of the zone, which is about realistically about 8 feet. And I mean, these are big, bad sharks that aren't afraid of anything. And they come in and they'll come straight in, and then they go like that, and they keep testing it,
oh,
and they'll come around. But we're able to set up a chum line, and what I'll do is I'll clip the shark shield off on the chum bag, which is in the water that I'm pulling fish out of and cutting up, and they won't eat it until it's like 12 foot down, which allows the tuna time to come all the way up. So then on top of that, once we get a fish shot, we've got a 1 or 2 pound weight on the shark shield and a carabiner. And we clip it off to the bungee, and it sinks down to the tunas, and they won't touch it. That being said, in a situation like this, it's tough to know. Like, I don't know if anyone has ever been bit with a shark shield on, if that tells us something. When they are fired up and they're moving so fast, there's no way of knowing.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to test out the theory.
And like
Um,
I've shown it to people, and like I've never posted it or anything like that. You know me, and I guess in a way the reason I didn't post it before and just didn't want to like freak people out. I guess
yeah. Well, it's in my mind, it's educational, because with all the shark hugging going on, everybody is lulled into this, thinking that you can free dive and you can snorkel with sharks and everything's going to be okay because they see these same sharks over and over that are fed every day and they're conditioned to do that,
mm-hmm.
and they're not looking for a meal. I mean, this is an open ocean shark that probably never seen a human. He's out there eating big bluefins and porpoises and sea lions. He saw something bigger and slower and he went for it.
Yeah.
And thankfully that doesn't happen a whole lot, but that's an eye opener. So the question keeps coming up as well. So where was this? How far offshore were you? How deep was it?
We were 30 miles. I guess it would be southwest of.
Shark fans are trash. Don't put those on. They're not even good looking jewelry.
Yeah. This would have been southwest of San Clemente Island. So we were far. I'd never actually been that far out hunting bluefin.
Were you
right
scared being that far away from shore?
What's that? Yeah.
Were you scared being that far away from shore?
I loved it. I was like, this is. I mean, it's not a. You remember what the tuna hunting was like back in 2018? It was like,
oh yeah,
every Yahoo and their mother. Like you saw guys in like little skiffs really far out where they should not have been hunting bluefin. Like claiming they could do it with a reel, which is stupid. But you know, we were far out there, and we were having really good luck and seeing a lot of life, and the water was amazing, and it was honestly it was turning into like one of the best days on the water ever.
Yep.
You could see when I come up how glassy it was out and everything. But man, we were far. I don't know exactly how many miles from Newport Beach, which is where the boats docked at, but it was not a short haul. It was an expensive gas day, that's for sure.
So because everybody can't really react here, come here, baby girl. So I'm gonna let Connor watch this and let you guys watch his reaction to it. He's never seen this. Close the door, please. Watch your fingers, baby. So Connor is my 6-year-old. Say hi, Connor. That's Luke.
Hi.
You've met Luke before.
Hi, Connor.
This is him in the Mako.
I saw that before.
Mm-hmm. What would you do in this situation, Connor?
I would shoot him in the head.
Was that a big one?
Yes. That was really weird.
For the Makos, one float. That's all you need. They don't run very hard, actually, from what I've heard.
That's great. You remember how I was talking to you years before this? Like, I'm going to shoot a Mako someday.
Frowned upon. Very frowned upon.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know why. It's just, you know what? It's an apex predator, and I'm all about hunting, and I love hunting and such to, forage for food. But
so
I don't know. I just have I have another respect for him now, and I don't really feel like killing him. Having said that, I sure as hell ain't gonna pet him either.
So the question came up, why didn't you shoot it? Like, personally, in that situation, I'm sure you had a lot of challenges with trying to get him, lined up, and like it was all happening like super fast. But why didn't you pull the trigger there?
To be completely and totally honest, I did not even think about it. I don't know if subconsciously I just knew that I didn't have the gas with the gun to do it. It's a 120 ocean, or not ocean.
It's not like he was far away.
It was a 120 oceanborn and on a reel. Mm-hmm. No float line or float. It was my kill gun, my Bluefin kill gun. So I'd like to say that, I didn't have the gear. In all reality, I just wanted to get back to the boat, dude.
Right.
To be honest. Now, from what the guys in the boat are telling me, the way I turned on it and caught it, they're like, they said that's probably what kept me alive, because they could see it coming after me.
Right.
But they didn't, again, they thought it was a white at first because it was big.
Mm-hmm.
And then they saw me punch it, and I felt myself when I punched it, when I finally got a good poke in it with my gun, because it's like I hit it, and it was like a shock absorber, like threw my arm back at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I had a good hit on him then, and I was pretty close to the boat then. And I was right when I turned and I saw him come up at me again, and I just got a good jab down at him. So
I watched Good Morning America during Shark Week, and apparently you're just supposed to redirect the great whites. Like, I think Al Roker was the guy that was showing us how to do that. Why didn't you redirect it like Al Roker?
Because I'm not Al Roker, man. He's obviously a superhuman, subhuman individual. So I gotta be, to be 100% completely honest, like, I didn't know what was going on at the time. I just wanted to get back in the boat and survive. I wasn't thinking like, should I shoot this? Should I do that? I honestly wasn't thinking any of that. So I don't have an excuse for why I didn't pull the trigger or didn't. That's just what I thought at the time was the best,
Yeah. You don't have time, dude. It happens so quick.
Yeah. If I would have had, my 145 oceanborn and my tuna rig on it, and he was just kind of chilling, I might have thought of shooting one. But I still
and tons of people are going to turn their noses up at that, but it's very frowned upon, especially in our day and age. It's not legal in a lot of places to shoot sharks. In California, I believe you're still legally able to shoot them. But Makos are phenomenally, they're game fish. Almost everyone that's caught most anywhere else is sold because they're good to eat. But in this situation, the shot would have been in defense. And most of these sharks that get shot like that, they're getting shot like right here, like right as they're coming. It's pretty gnarly. But
Yeah.
obviously, glad you're okay. And since then, you've had tons of different encounters with other big sharks and stuff, and we're glad you're here. So we only got a couple minutes left. What is the best advice you've ever gotten on spearfishing?
Oh, from you? Take an FII course.
Yeah, probably
I
good
mean,
one.
I've used it on, I've saved lives, or a life. I know
Mhm.
a life with it. And my story with spearfishing, I was just kind of a kook kid with a pole spear fishing here in California. I didn't know anybody, and then our mutual friend,
Mhm.
I landed on a trip from Africa. I used to fly to Vegas to see friends there, just kind of decompress after trips, and she took me to this library. She had to get a book, and I got that Blue Water Hunter book. And I'd never seen anything like that. Like, I didn't even know that was like possible. And she's just like, "Oh yeah, I have an ex-boyfriend that used to do that." And I'm like, she's like, "I think he's like kind of good at it." Like, he goes with my brothers all the time. I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And that's how I heard about you and met you, and later gone on trips with you and stuff. But I think that, and then just really being showed, like, seeking out the knowledge for the different rigs for the fish that I've hunted. Like, that first big year of bluefin, we were
It was.
successful because of what you shared with us. We didn't lose fish. Nobody died, and it was all really safely done. And I think everybody sort of copies that same setup
So
that you
what is
taught me.
what is the setup? So what is the setup you would suggest? And don't say the gun, because I disagree with your gun completely.
Yeah, you're also
What
not
is your
6'4",
what is your bungee
240,
buoy
so
setup?
no. I The setup is, for me, it's a 100-foot bungee, Rife bungee, just because that's the one you gave me. It's a 100-foot bungee with a single atmosphere, the 7 psi Rife float, like something a little lighter, and then an anchor float on the back. So for mine, it's the 25 psi Rife, or whatever they call it, 3 atmospheres now. Back then, it was called 2 atmospheres, I think, and as the anchor, and then using that buoy in the front on the tuna clip to drag it up and land the fish. And then we get them up to about 5 feet of bungee is left, and then different guys have different methods of killing. Like, we started off using reel guns, and that didn't work out as well. I actually got drug under by a bluefin, and luckily it popped off my fin.
And it comes off like so often that when you shoot them the second time, they come off. So it's nice to shoot, especially a big fish like that. Just shoot them with another big rig.
Yeah, and that's what we started doing. And then I really like what Balta's done. He sort of has like a gun with the barbs popped off, and he'll shoot it, pull it back out, shoot it again, pull it back out until it's pretty much dead, and then he'll brain it. I haven't done that yet, just because, like I said, our team sort of has we kind of have what we do set up, and we always dive in, form teams. So 2 guys get in the water. For us, 1 guy gets in the water. He's the one hunting. The other guy's directing. The other guy is driving. And once that person shoots the fish, the second he's on with that fish, then the backup diver's getting in the water, and he's with the second gun, and he's basically watching that guy fight the fish. And for us, just the way we are, it's the backup diver that takes the kill shot.
Yeah.
So you're usually
it's whoever's rested enough so they can make the right dive.
Exactly.
And it depends, and you want to make the right shot.
Yeah,
well,
Luke, I'm lucky. All my partner divers are savages. They're 100+ footer ninjas like you, and I totally trust them to make those shots. And I've made the shots for them as well. So that's just the way we do it. Kind of a team effort. I think we had the first California limit of bluefin on spear back then. And just had a beautiful day. We were done by 2:00 too, which was insane. It was just one of those days. But it was that rig. It was absolutely that rig and all of us had different guns, from giant logs to my gun that you hate. So, but we landed the fish, and I think it was that setup. Having just that proper setup makes a
difference. It's just like setting the drag on your reel. Well, dude, thanks for your time. We're going to try to keep these at 30 minutes, and I'm sure we'll do another one with you. There was so much other stuff I wanted to talk about, but obviously this is one of the wildest things that's ever happened. I'm going to show the video one more time and pronounce your last name, Agajanian?
Yes, perfect.
Luke Agajanian, a good buddy of mine, really incredible waterman, and he's a pretty good shooter. Aren't you a nationally ranked shooter now for pistol?
I've won some things. I've won some things or two. No, but I won the best thing I won last year was the California Tactical Rifle Championship, and then I won the where's the there, but I won the Gunsta Cup, which is one of the biggest pistol competitions we have here in California.
Yep.
So that was awesome.
Well, all that didn't help you much here.
No.
So
No.
we'll end it with this. This is that big Mako. How much do you think he weighed?
I don't know, but if you look at my fin next to him, he's pretty big.
I'm guessing 400 or 500 pounds.
Yeah.
I've got one of my buddies out your way that's he catches a ton of those things on fly actually, and we'll probably do an interview with him. But yeah, that's a pretty big animal. Well, Luke, thank you for your time. Thank you everybody for joining in here. I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 of these a day while everybody's in quarantine, just on all kinds of different subjects, interesting stuff, learning about different areas to dive, the different equipment we need. Tomorrow we're going to talk about some blackouts, and I've got another buddy of mine, John Hernandez, who unfortunately had this same situation happen, but he did get bit, and it was a very bad situation in the Bahamas. Luckily, he didn't bleed to death, but the stories are very gripping, and the pictures are